Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yo, what up, what up? It's your boy Rubino.
And this DJ in the building.
And you listening to the UpNUp Podcast.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we doing?
I don't know, just listen.
Yes. Welcome.
What it do?
Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned into the UpNUp Podcast. I'm your host, Rubino.
I'm DJ man.
DJ Erm.
Shannon.
How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Good?
Good,
You stayed in town this past weekend,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Feeling good?
Yeah,
Feeling
good,
great?
man. You know.
Yeah, it's a good vibe tonight. So for those of you first-time listeners out there, this is the UpNUp Podcast. This is the podcast where we strive to cultivate the culture through sharing amazing stories of individuals as well as groups who are doing amazing work out here. Going after their goals, their visions, their dreams, and letting nothing stop them. Right, staying on the up and up.
Always.
Right, it's a lifestyle. Right, you gotta live it. You gotta live it
sir.
to believe it. Now, man, it wouldn't be right unless I shouted out our listeners and our viewers and supporters. Man, we appreciate all y'all for real, man, because this is a movement we're trying to create here, and so. Anybody who's tapped in, anybody who's been impacted by our episodes, we appreciate you guys, and we ain't stopping anytime soon, right? Never, right? So shout out to y'all. Make sure to rate, subscribe, and review. You can find all our episodes on YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Just type in the UpNUp Podcast, and that's where you can find it. Also, make sure to follow us at @_TheUpNUp on all social media so you can stay tapped in and locked in, right? Anything else I'm missing?
Nah.
Usually you always try to come at me. Like,
yeah, it was good. You covered it most of it.
All right.
You know.
Now, also before we get to it, if you haven't noticed, we have some pretty nice items on the table right here.
Oh yeah.
What do we got here, Herb? What do
we
got here?
some nice little dad hats over here.
Yes,
the
sir.
Cultivating Culture limited edition ones.
Yes, sir. So we do have an online store coming soon. If you haven't been hinted, but yeah, man, this is just a little something for the listeners, for the supporters. So we'll keep you posted. Make sure you follow us. We'll keep you posted on how you can get in touch and get tapped in and stay fresh, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, getting that out the way, we always bring a great guest up here, right?
Always.
And we never fall short on that. And today's guest, I'm excited, man. This is someone that I've known for a while now. Someone I definitely admire the work he's been doing and will continue to do. I'd say he's a brother who's a constant mover and shaker, right? And it seems like everything he's doing always leads back to giving back to his people, right, in his community. I mean, regardless of what it is, whatever area he's in, it always seems to trickle back to us, right? When I say us, I mean us, right?
Yeah.
I would say he's a conduit for creatives and culture. And he's keeping everything he's doing on the up and up, and he's always on it. Definitely a great representation of what that means. Let me just tell you, man, this guy's when I say he's involved in a lot,
Yeah.
you thought he had a clone or something, you know what I'm saying? Some of the things he's been involved with, he does take part in leading the Building Men program, which is focused on empowering 3rd through 5th grade students and youth. He's a curator of countless, when I say countless, I mean that, like, emphasize countless events, some such as Love and Unity, Splash Block Party, Club Friday, which is, we'll get into all of those as well so people know how they can get tapped in. Along the list, he also is involved in artist management, right? So he manages artists, Just Moni, Anjali, Jean-Pierre. Did I pronounce that right?
Correct, good brother.
Okay, good, man. You know what I'm saying? Public school. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to, I'm flexing my reading skills. As well as Keon Sims. And last but not least, I got to save the best for last. He's also the host of New Don't Shoot the Messenger podcast.
Hey.
Available for your listening pleasure.
Yeah.
Where you find
Yes,
podcasts,
sir.
all podcasts. I'm going to just get straight to it, man. This is another brother out here trying to make a way for himself as well as his people. Our guest is none other than the ultimate team player and culture cultivator himself, Isaiah Jimenez. Can we get a round of applause? Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
Yeah, good, man. I appreciate it. I'm honored to be here. Appreciate you.
Man, it's a pleasure to have you, bro. Definitely, again, like I said, this is long overdue.
Yeah.
Let me and him tell it. But If you're familiar with the show, you know we always start the show off with a quote of the day.
Yes, sir.
You know, something just to set the vibe right, get the mood right. You know,
Let's get it.
quote man, what you got?
So the quote for today. So quote for today is people look at you strange, say you changed, like you worked out hard to stay the same.
That sounds familiar. Who said that?
The one and only Hov.
Ho.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like a hoe.
Yeah. Say that one more time so the people in the back can hear it.
People look at you strange, say you changed, like you worked out hard to stay the same.
You kind of rap that.
You got to, bro. There's no way.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no way I couldn't, man.
Yeah,
you know?
no. So for the consistent listeners, they know why we bring the quotes in, but we usually bring them in because they're dope quotes. It gets the vibe right, gets the conversation set and the tone set. But we also want to pull quotes that kind of tie into our guests and kind of what they're providing, what they're about. And it's, in that quote it says you work so hard not to stay the same in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And I've known you for a while now. And you're definitely not the same person that I met when I first met you, right?
Yeah, nah.
I feel like we all have evolved, So but I do want to take it back. Obviously, we mentioned a lot that you're currently involved in, but let's take it back to kind of the early days when you was a youngin', right? Like where did you grow up and kind of how did that shape, this path that you've been on so far?
Yeah, for sure. I'm from Tacoma, so growing up in Tacoma, being in the inner city, black youth growing up. South End, Hilltop, just trying to figure it out. Honestly, just I was blessed though. I always like to say that because I have both my parents. And a telling thing that I figured out when I got to college was that everybody, like none of my homies growing up, nobody had a dad. Nobody had dad in the house. So, I was literally one of the only ones. And so my dad was my coach for basketball. And so, he was pretty much a bunch of other kids' dads too. You feel me? Because everybody else's dad, everybody else on the team, grew up without a father. So, just growing up, realizing that at an older age, what that did for me, and having mentors in place, that was, allowed me to, reach any type of places that I've been or things that I've been able to do up to this point. I wouldn't have been able, it would have been a different story if I didn't have the structure of good males in my life, and my dad being number one.
That's important.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, just even growing up in that, just still wanting to be in that lifestyle, or just, being attracted to, the people that got it, And we in high school, we in middle school, we see who got it, we see what they doing. Yeah. We see the attention that they get. This is before social media. So it's like,
the flex was on site.
It was real, And so we strive to be that, but I remember, it's funny, kind of comes full circle. We record our podcast at our engineer Josiah, co-host Josiah, friend. Shout out to Josiah.
Shout out Josiah.
Yeah. And he literally lives on the street that is in the hood, or it's on the hill. But I remember on that street, I was gonna get put on or not get put on.
Wow,
that's crazy.
And I really chose I'm a hooper. That's not my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so I always knew that growing up, I didn't want to be involved, in the street life or just like that. But just having friends and having people that you grew up with, people that you hoop with. You can't. You walk into somebody with one of your friends, you automatically associate it as that type of person.
That's interesting you mentioned that, because I feel like a lot of times people who grow up in those environments, it's not that they don't want to be down with per se the people. It's just kind of the activities that they're partaking in. It's not you. Exactly. So it's it's hard to kind of find that balance where I want to still be friends, I still want to hang with you, but if this is what you're doing, nature has a way of just kind of separating y'all, right?
Nah, for sure. And a lot of that happened when I went to college. A lot of the relationships that I had with a lot of people back home.
Where'd you go to school?
Eastern Washington University.
Okay. Shout out the Eagles.
Yeah.
Let them know.
Yeah, you had a stint there.
You
know.
We
was in the rec doing your thing.
Yes, sir. You already know.
Okay. Yeah.
Good times.
But yeah, just kind of like you were saying, paths just differentiate, and you kind of just lose contact with certain people. But God has a plan, and some of these people they show a way to get back into your life. You know what I mean? I moved back home, And you know, I always thought when I was like, because Tacoma has like a reputation of like what I see as like quicksand, and it's like if people get like sucked into the comfortability of Tacoma or our situation out here, because if you look at it, we're in a good place. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you look around, there's, you know, mountains, you know, the scenery, the women, like just all the different things that make our place beautiful. We could get comfortable as black people in the Northwest and like really just, you know, I'm just sitting on my laurels type. So like,
that's right.
I always wanted to make sure that I didn't get sucked into that comfortability while I was in the city after I moved home.
Like a false sense of so everything's okay, everything's cool.
Yeah. It like, even when people now, like people say, I'm proud of you, and that still, I'm not able to
It's tough.
process that in a way that is positive. It's like, no, what? No. Like,
we haven't even done what we're supposed to be
I
doing.
haven't scratched no type of surface of what I'm trying to really do.
Exactly.
I don't even know all the way what I'm trying to do. So it's like, you know, you hear those things, but at the same time, you know, I try to be humble all the time, you know, and just, you know, accept it, but like really try to feel like, what does it mean for me? Like, why am I, you know, why do I hear that, and what is it supposed to fuel for me after that? So like, I don't know, you know, came from Tacoma, you know, grew up with like my core friends. I'm still very close with them, and you know, I feel like we've, you know, everybody's kind of branched out and, you know, lives in different places now, but just through school and through sports, we were able to like keep it tight knit and focus on like what we were trying to accomplish. And I think that, you know, having the right circle around you, even especially at an early age, can really tell. Like, there's people that we know that are you know, that were friends as like, you know, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade growing up. But you know, if you think about like just where you were born, like geography has a lot to do with the decisions that end up happening.
That's
like,
real.
We're born into religion because we, you know, we were born in being whatever religion it is because we were born in that place.
No,
so it's like,
it has a heavy influence.
you know, you think about like, okay, this was my friend in 3rd grade. This doesn't mean this has to be my best friend for the rest of my life. Like, but I think that, you know, it's comfortable for that. Like a lot of people, you know, we have friends that may be, you know, detrimental to us, or, you know, our paths just differentiate. It may not be anything else other than that. And, you know, some people hold on to those relationships. Like, I'm not saying burn those bridges. But I definitely have an understanding of the people that I want to be around. And the network that I want to create for myself. I'm trying to build the best me possible. So selfishly, I'm taking the best of the people that are around me. And if they're not moving in a certain way, then it's like, I can't really.
No, that's
give me my
that's
energy.
real.
So
that's real.
Like after you left college, because I know when I left college, I had that, you know, right when I got back home, I'm like, damn, I had that little time period where I'm like, all right, what the hell am I about to do now? You know,
confetti has fallen.
Yeah, you feel me? Like I could use my degree, or I could like just try to make, you know, something. You're just trying to get it, you know. So what was that like? What was your mind state when you came back? Did you have like that period of time where you're still trying to like figure something out?
For sure, yeah. I didn't know, so I had like an extra quarter that I had to do after like our graduation. So I felt like in that extra time that I was kind of like there by myself out there, I was plotting on what I was gonna do when I got back home. And so I knew I wanted to. I knew I could sell cars. I did it like a couple summers. So I was like, I could sell cars and make good money doing that. So like, that could be like my first job coming back. Like I know I can make money doing that. But I was just like, if I'm gonna be living home, and this comes back to the thing where it's like I have to be able to give back to like the place that made me me. So it was just figuring out what that could be, and I was just like, I thought of what we lacked as a community, and where I could make an impact, and it was just more so. You know, a platform specifically to, you know, what you guys have here. It was trying to highlight and bring forth recognition to artists or people, entrepreneurs, anybody that I respected personally. I was trying to make sure that other people knew about them. And so, and I was a communication major. So I always wanted to be able to, I think that if you have effective communication, it solves damn near all problems.
Yeah,
literally.
Right, yeah.
Literally.
You know what I mean? So if
that's real.
if we can effectively communicate what we're trying to communicate to someone else and come to a common ground of understanding, a lot can be accomplished in that moment. And so I always wanted to, there was like, you know, the little phrase or like, you know, where people say, or I have people in my life that basically don't talk about certain things. You know, I mean, as black people, we don't talk about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like,
That's right.
I wanted to be able to have any and every conversation. So I wanted these conversations to kind of like push a direction of dialogue that people weren't talking about, or that people, you know, or that people do talk about, but we never really talk about them amongst other people.
Yeah, it's in private.
It's a very private interaction.
Sensitive topics.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. So I was just really trying to kind of like push the envelope of communication, because I feel like we shouldn't be scared of communication. Like, we should be able to do this at any given moment. So started creating conversations and creating conversation in 2015, and that was just kind of like utilizing the resources, like black people, we make the best top ramen. You know what I'm saying? Like, like we know how to doctor up what we're working with to make it.
That's real.
Great.
We call that the finesse code, the F code.
Yeah.
We just know how to finesse shit.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, okay, well, I want to come up with a web series, and I want to, you know, have these conversations. I want to interview people. Like, I want to, you know, I always wanted to go into broadcasting. So I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how I can do it on my own and start up. And so my homies, P and Umi, had ETC, and I went into ETC, and I was just like, man, you know, I kind of like, how could we? I basically just pitched them the idea, like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I've been gone a minute. P went to Eastern with us.
Okay.
So, you know, I kind of had some.
You had that connection
with him,
for sure.
and you know, he knew like I was, you know, about something.
Yeah.
And so, I basically just started reaching out to, you know, my videographer at the time was Dre, 25th Street. Shout out to him. And we basically any artist or anybody that I can get my hands on, I was just trying to interview them there and just set it up. Got that going, and then, you know, this goes back to like my background, what you were saying, like even before college, I had threw parties. So in high school, and then like I want to say my first 2 years at Eastern, I was throwing parties back in Tacoma.
Yes, sir.
And so like I just had that knowledge of, okay, I can make money doing this. So it turned from how can I help my community to how can I turn this into a business, and how can I make money from this? And you know, it during the process of it and figuring it all out, like I was just like, we're gonna throw events. We're going to, and they're gonna be community-based events. They're not gonna be parties. They're gonna be, you know, like you were saying, love and unity. Which is an art just an art exhibit. You know, where you have these different artists that are all being showcased, whether it's, you know, makeup, you know, it's painters doing live painting, it's, you know, visual artists with photography, and you know, and we have a show as well with recording artists. So basically trying to put these different plays together where we can still highlight, you know, and that's where creating conversation is right now, is more so events, and moved away from the web series. Well, not to cut you off, but I mean, through the events, conversations will be created anyways, right?
So
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, it still gets the job done. I think one thing you touched on, which I think a lot of our listeners and viewers can take heed to, is you knew your why, right? You knew your why before you jumped into anything. Like, you asked him after college, what was that period like? And I think it was figuring out your why. Like, whatever it is I'm going to do, I need to know why I want to do it. And not just to make money, but like an actual moral reasoning, right? For what will continue to push me even when the money don't show.
Exactly.
Right? And I think you touched on that with creating conversation, that even though the web series, you know, you didn't continue that, it evolved to something that, you know, still had the same impact. So
absolutely.
Definitely talk about that too. Like that transitional period when, because, you know, a lot of people get discouraged when an idea may not, you know, hit the mark or go 110% like they wanted to. What was that like for you when you said, okay, how can I pivot and transition into this, right? Like, what are some tips you can give people to figure out that transitional process? Because I think that's important for people who start shit, get frustrated, and then don't know where to go from there.
Like shooters shoot. And so it's like
straight up.
Word to J.R. Smith. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I have ideas, and you know, I try to see them through, and plan and execute. And I think that, you know, like what you're saying, in that time, there was a shift, there was a rebrand, and we were like, okay, trying to figure out, okay, what do we want to do on the internet specifically? And then we brought in my man Garza, ran a website, and you know, we changed over some things. We had hired some writers, and you know, was like, okay, this is gonna be a blog site. We're basically gonna have our own baller alert type of deal, type of platform. You know, we're having our writers submit in stuff about current things. We're pulling stories from other places.
Yes, sir.
And so we were building it like that, and just more so where my life was, where the people whose lives were involved.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the timing for it.
Yeah.
Like, it just didn't work out. So like, we pivoted to that, and then was like, okay, well, let me, you know, still, we have this platform, we still have our annuals, and I always wanted to make sure that I developed, in the first year of creating conversation, I developed some annual events that I can always just, you know, have.
Yeah.
And so with those, we're just able to really, you know, keep it alive, keep it going, and you know, just build upon it. But like you were saying, like it, like I feel like as creators, or as like artists specifically, like you're saying, you may get in your feelings about a specific topic, or a specific thing that doesn't go your way or doesn't work out the way you want it to.
Yeah.
And it's more so just about like figuring out, like we pivoted to another pivot and almost traveled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
we I like that. I like the basketball references.
Hey,
right
come
now.
on, down,
Come on.
Euro stepped out of that.
Oh, do we got any European listeners? I don't know.
Come on.
Right,
they're out there. So that's basically what it was. And then once I kind of shifted from, okay, well, now we have these annual events, I can kind of focus my time on other things. And then that's when managing artists started for me. And it was kind of like, okay, like I remember this past summer, I didn't do any events. It was kind of like the first summer in a while I didn't throw any events, and it was just more so because I was focused on Moni and focused on making sure that, you know, she just released the album in April. You know, Sweet to Me, shout out to that.
Yes, sir. Shout out to her. I see you guys pushing it too, man. Shout out to her.
Yeah, the whole city of Seattle, man, they love Moni. So
definitely
shout out just Moni.
Definitely.
But yeah, so like that takes up a lot of, you know, it's, you know, my end is, you know, I didn't know what a manager was, or I didn't know I would ever be a manager, or, you know, think to be in management.
Yeah.
But you know, I kind of know how to get some things accomplished, and I network, and I was just like, I love music, and how does this work? And it really happened really organically. You know, me and Moni was friends. The kind of opportunity presented itself, and you know, we just kind of ran with it. So it's like, you know, to people listening that want to be in music, it's like, there's a lot of people wanting to be artists or wanting to be in music that love music.
Yeah.
And kind of limit their scope of what the music industry has as far as employment, or as far as a way to make a living, or a way to, you know, be able to provide. So like, just learning more and more about the industry and how many people are getting paid on one record.
That's real.
Like, you know what I mean?
That's
like,
real.
Just different things like that, to where it's like, okay. And then, like you were just saying, it's just trial and error, just going through it. Like, I didn't know what I was doing when I started creating conversation. I didn't know what I was doing when I was first Moni's manager. Yeah. I just went as I went.
Bro, we were just talking about that. You just got to try shit.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, the common theme is probably like the hunger. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, man, something's going to hit. And it's like, and if you gain a little bit of interest in something, you're going to do your own, like, research into like knowing it and trying to like master it and stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
how it just keeps
to your
going.
own abilities and what you know you're capable of doing, right?
Yeah, because like I mean, when we was in school and they're teaching us something that we don't really, you know, give a fuck about. It's like, we just don't care. We're on our phones, whatever the case is, you know. But when it's something that we're like, oh shit, we could use this, you know what I mean? And we start getting a little more attentive.
Nah,
you know
for real, to what you were saying, to his why. It was like, what was my passion, or like, what would I do that I wouldn't care if money was attached to it. And once you figure out what that was, I didn't figure out what or who or kind of what direction I wanted to go till I was 24. So it's 3 years ago. Like I had no idea what I wanted to be or like where I was going with my life or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it was just more so like, okay, like these are the kind of attributes that I have. I know this. Like, what can I do specifically, and what am I interested in? Like, what have I always been able to do that was just kind of came easy to me type deal.
Exactly.
So like, just focusing on that, and then you kind of focus on one thing and you notice like, oh, I have been able to do this too.
Yeah.
And I can turn up in this too.
Yep.
That's real though, because you know what? You brought up. I'm glad you brought up that point in terms of when you felt like you were becoming who you were setting out to be.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not so much who you want to be. It's more so you're able to finally accept that shit ain't always gonna be the way you think it's gonna be.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the point when you start unleashing your potential, right? When you know, like, man, fuck it, I'm going into the jungle. I don't know what's ahead, but I'm going into it full throttle, full alertness, and I'm gonna take it as it comes, right?
Yeah.
Because when you sit there and try to predict shit, you try to expect shit, it's not gonna happen the way you think it's gonna happen. The sooner you can accept that life isn't gonna wait for you, you know what I'm saying, and shit ain't gonna go the way you want to map it out.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna open doors for real for yourself.
That's
Absolutely,
what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
That's I mean, going back to another basketball reference,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like you can't just come down the court and be like, all right, I'm about to go lay the ball up. You know what I mean? There's like a little bit of structure. You're going to run this play, and then you take what the defense gives you. You know what I mean? So,
Unless you're LeBron James, because that
he's bulldozer.
get out the way.
He's bulldozer.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. But
To what you were saying, judging, and I'm a person that kind of is like, I'm observant, or I feel like I, kind of feel the people around me, like I'm aware of, kind of just things that are around me. So like, I've always been one to like measure myself up and be competitive. And like, so I remember, I'm 19 years old. I remember going to Avery's draft party, Avery Bradley.
Yeah.
Yes. And
was that 131?
It was at 131.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was at 131.
Yeah.
So like just around that time, and I'm 19 years old, and he's 19 years old, but he's somebody that I grew up with. Like I played against Avery my whole life. So, seeing him become a millionaire, I instantly thought like, damn, he's beating me. Like he signed a 5-year or a 4-year, $20 million contract.
Yeah.
$20 million contract. He got $20 million more than I got. So like I was thinking about that, and then like as over time, just my competitive spirit was like, dang, he beat me to it. You know what I mean? Like being a millionaire our age. And then I got older and was just like, I can't measure how much. This man ended our senior season as the #1 player in the country on the #1 team in the country. How can I measure up what my path is that I don't even know yet with somebody who found their path at age 18?
And he works his ass off. I know
so
personally,
so just thinking about that and being able to understand like everybody isn't my competition. I have to be the best me. Just because people around me, I want other people around me to do good. Like we need to be doing good together. But at the same time, I'm not competing with no other man.
You know and it
mean?
Takes you accepting, right? Accepting that.
Yes.
And that's when you unleash your full potential. I feel like
Absolutely.
that's the realest shit. When you focus, I read this book called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. It's a really good book. And in it, it talks about the law of pure potentiality, right? In terms of like when you can access your pure potentiality and what's inside, like knowledge of self, know yourself, self-worth, all that. That's when you start opening doors, right? Again, nothing's mapped out. You don't know what the hell's ahead, but when you have that inner drive and you're connected, bro. Shit starts working.
Shit starts working.
Shit starts clicking.
The world starts aligning. Your universe starts aligning, and stuff starts falling into the place the way it needs to.
That's real.
You know, it's just, I don't know. I believe in all of that.
I feel you because I think, if you get too caught up in the competitiveness, that it kind of turns into envy after a while. And then you kind of just do uncharacteristic shit. You know what I mean? So
that's real.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's like
Can't
important.
go
You
down
made
that
that like, you're like, all right, kind of step back. You're like,
Yeah,
it's cool, you know what I mean?
Like I was like, man, like I was never really like hating on him or anything, but I just had always noticed it. Like he got that much money than me.
Yeah.
Why? Like why him?
Yeah.
And then you go, why him? And then that's when that jealousy starts shipping in. Like, well, what did he do? And then you're like, okay, well, let me think back. And like you said, hard work.
Yep.
And so you just double down on that. Like, I got to work just as hard in whatever I'm doing, because I know that to be the best player in the country out of every single player, like, you had to be working your ass off. So, yeah, it was just learning that, man. That really, like I said, 24 years old, it kind of propelled me to another space.
Man, and 24 is so young, man. 24 is so young, but I feel like another basketball reference. Kobe Bryant, on one of his documentaries, he talked about when he came out of high school, people were just bashing him, like, this 18-year-old skinny kid, what are you doing? Go to college. Yeah. And he said, I knew that I needed to be in the NBA. I wanted to play. And he said it's one thing for you to find your calling, right? Mm-hmm. He said it's rare to find it at a young age, right?
Yeah,
and
facts.
so 24 is still young, and I think a lot of us who are in this, 20s, your 20s, right?
Yeah.
I think we need to be patient with ourselves too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, stop rushing yourself. Set your pace. Mm-hmm. Don't react to the race.
Yeah.
Right? That's the motto.
Because I was at 19 and I was like, I have no idea what I would do to make $1 million. Or I have no idea what I would even, how I would go about that. Like, I have no type of, like, specific talent that could bring that to me right now at this moment. So it was like, okay, let me, go back to the drawing board of who I am and how can I monetize what I can put into the world. Yeah. And like you were just saying, like, I don't want to be doing nothing that I'm not passionate about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to, everything that I do or everything that in the way that I move is just like, I'm going for that. Like, that's what I want to do. I'm gonna make a decision.
No, that's real. So let's transition now. So you obviously went into the events space, right? Mm-hmm. You kind of solidified yourself as having successful events, and not only successful but consistent events, right? Annually. Now, another pivot, right? Yeah. Because again, you do a lot, and I do also want to ask another question, but I want to jump into this now. The Building Men program, right? So this is something that I'm extremely proud of you for doing, first and foremost.
Yeah, man.
Because that shit is like, you see people doing shit, and you're like, damn. Remember how you said you seen Avery and you're like, damn, why me? I'm looking at him like, how can I do that with him, right? It's a different type of attention that's being paid, right? Mm-hmm. But Building Men program, which is, if I'm not mistaken, so you guys it's more so kind of an empowerment program for 3rd through 5th grade students, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how did that come about? And I know you didn't do it alone, but how did that come about, if you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Building Men started, we're in our 3rd year of it, so we had
Congrats, bro.
Yeah,
congrats.
2 successful years, and those first 2 years were at Edison Elementary. And this next year here that we've been at Lister Elementary, so shout out to both of those schools in Tacoma. But yeah, Miss Gamble, Sharice Gamble, was the counselor at Edison, and she's now the counselor at Lister. And pretty much the opportunity presented itself. She had did a paper or I don't want to be wrong about it, but something in her master's program. Okay. And she kind of came up with this idea, and so she brought it to me when she was at Edison. Like, do you think you could, get volunteers? Like, what do you think? Mm-hmm. How do you think it would go? And I was like, yeah. And then, came up with the name Building Men, and then we just kind of ran with it. And pretty much it's the 3rd and 4th and 5th grade boys, and it's like an in-school mentorship program that we meet once a month. Okay. We got about an hour. Excuse me. We got about an hour with each grade, and pretty much just want to be positive male influences in their life. Like, that's really the goal. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we're doing other things with the program as far as, what we do within the program. We play games. They do have fun. We do give them candy. Yeah. But at the same time, we're learning things as well that we didn't really think that we were getting in elementary school. You know what I mean? So we're not their teachers, so we don't really have to abide by a curriculum. So we're just male volunteers that want to see, a better Tacoma, a better place a better world than what we had growing up.
That's real. Just being that presence in their life that they probably don't have, right?
Yeah, absolutely, bro. There's specifically at Edison, because we've been there for 2 years. There was I didn't understand, like, Edison's right in the middle of Tacoma. It's by the mall. And I didn't know, like, how black the school was. Like, I'm getting in there, and I'm like, it's like 50% black kids in here. And, just the family structure of everything. And not only not only the black kids, the white family structure is off. Like there's a lot of poverty in this like area. So it was just like noticing that and seeing the impact that we made on the kids, man. It was just crazy. Like when we come into the schools, they're lit up, man. They love us.
Yeah.
It's a different type of feeling. So man, I'm appreciative of, you know, Sharice being able to extend the opportunity for me to be able to, you know, we teamed up on this thing together, you know, and have been able to see it through. So I'm definitely, it's one of probably like the proudest thing that I've kind of accomplished. Just from a giving back standpoint.
It's probably the coolest thing too. Like it's cool to do shit like that, man.
Bro,
like
it feels so good.
It
bro.
does, man. Even seeing it, you know. Sometimes we vicariously kind of, you know, do things through other people. So like that's dope. That we've been a part of programs like Seek, you know, that goes to inner cities and works with kids. So I know that impact. I know how important it is. And like you said, sometimes it's just being there, right?
Yeah.
Like, but you guys do a lot of dope shit for them too. Like, so talk about some of the activities you have them go through, because I know you be putting them on game, you putting them on some knowledge too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we got a financial literacy workshop that we do. I kind of want to have them. I kind of want to have them play bones one time to teach them some math real quick. But
man, as long as they learn, right?
Yeah, just to work with numbers. But yeah, no, we definitely have. You know, we're planning one right now, which is like our anti-bullying one. We got one that, you know, tackles masculinity, or what it is to be toxic in your masculinity. Just, you know, different things where, you know, we're respecting women. We're talking about teamwork, friendship, you know, these different social interactions or these social things that we know that they're going through and that their teachers aren't really able to, like, connect with them on that level.
Teachers probably don't have time for that anyway.
Yeah, it's like life skills, you know?
Life skills, yep. It's a good way to put it.
So a lot of that, and we're definitely looking to build. We have a graduation each year for them. So they get bow ties. You know, they walk. We have a graduation ceremony for them.
I seen that.
So yeah, we do breakfast. It's dope, man. And shout out to Sharice. She's been able to, you know, kind of be the driving force for all of that. So like a thing that I noticed that, you know, going to school together, there's a lot of our peers that ended up in education. And so just being able to, like you said, like just utilize my network is just like, since starting Building Men, like there's other schools that have reached out to us and been like, you know, how can we get this in our school? And, you know, we're kind of working on like perfecting it and getting it to a level that we want at one school. And then, you know, looking at possible growth, you know, because
I got some people to connect you with, because I know some people who can definitely help as far as learning how to navigate that process. But because that was something I was going to ask, is like, you got to expand this. This has to be expanded. You know? For real.
Yeah, appreciate that.
No,
but we're definitely working to make that happen.
Okay.
But like I said, in our third year of it, it's just really like we have a process now, and now it's just about like refining it and kind of adding in the little things that we can make it our own with it.
Always.
And yeah, man, I'm actually I'm about to be a Santa Claus on at this downtown market in Tacoma, Washington on December 9th.
Pull up.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a black Santa Claus.
Hey,
that's hilarious.
I never would have thought, but
Black Santa does exist.
We gonna be we gonna be giving back to
throw up the
fist.
fist.
That's what's up. So you're doing a lot, bro. Sounds like you're doing a lot for the community.
Yeah, I try, man.
I also want to ask you. You said you want to be the mayor of Tacoma one day, right?
He did say that, right?
I do.
Yeah. So what sparked that idea for you? Was it just like everything you've been doing?
That's a very good way to put it, as an idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's really what it is now at this point. What sparked it? It was just like I got another one of my homies I went to school with, and you know, his record isn't where mine is. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of cool. I haven't really been in trouble like that. And you know, he was a criminal justice major, and he always talks to me about policy, and you know, every time you know, we're together, he kind of brings up just certain things, and he's like, bro, I really want you to get into politics. Like, I really want you to do it. He's like, everybody loves you in our city. Like, you know, people know you. Like, I think that, you know how to speak well. You ain't ugly, like stuff like that. So he kind of
gassy.
He was really gassy. He was faded.
It's part of the requirements, I guess.
He was faded. trying to have intellectual conversation.
Real friends, right?
Real friends.
Real friends.
So yeah, we got that, and then literally after he said that, bro, probably like 3 people in the next week was like, "Have you ever thought about policy? Like, why aren't you in politics?" And I've never had the urge to like want to be involved in politics. I don't know much about politics at all. Like, so just sounding or hearing the mayor of Tacoma.
Yeah.
And shout out my boy Neon Dion. I think that he is gonna be the mayor of Tacoma, and I told him after he's the mayor of Tacoma,
pass it
just
along.
pass it on
Pass
down to
it
me.
along.
You know what I'm saying? From big homie to little homie.
Yes,
So,
sir.
like,
Yes, sir.
I just think that, you know, with and I kind of set random goals for myself. Like I was like, I want to do radio. I want to do broadcasting. So it was like, you know, radio kind of is changing, and you know, I was kind of figuring that out, and so I was like, I'll put that on hold, or you know, I'll do a podcast, and that'll be my radio. That's still my dream. But I was like, okay, well, let's just maybe that could be something you could do when you retire. Just retire and go get on the radio.
Yeah.
You know, so like mayor of Tacoma is like, excuse me, something I would love to be. But is it something that I see within the next 5 years?
Yeah.
Probably not. Like, not on the path that I'm going on right now.
Yeah.
But if it's, you know, I would definitely love to, you know, grow my following, or, you know, do certain other things in the community that people can recognize me for and look back and really be able to be like, no, I'll vote for that guy.
You know what though? I think the most important thing people can learn from just this right here, this topic alone, is that you got it out your head, right?
Yeah.
You put it down on a piece of paper and said, this is a goal of mine, right?
Yeah.
Whether you tend to it now or down the line, it's out there for the universe to kind of work for you, right?
Yeah.
And you also mentioned like building a following, right? And I feel like with politics, again, I'm not a political scientist or nothing, right? But most people who emerge, whether it's a mayor or councilwoman or whatever the case is, we never knew who they were as they were building, right?
Yeah.
They usually build in silence, I feel like, right? So they accomplish a lot of shit to earn credentials within the circuit, right?
Yeah.
The political circuit is not publicly displayed,
Acclaimed.
right, to people like us. So I think for you, as long as you continue doing the work, right, and in silence in a sense, right, when your time comes, right, they gonna know who you are. You feel me? So definitely, bro. I definitely see it being possible though.
Appreciate
for
that,
sure.
man.
Of
That's
course,
what's up,
for sure.
bro.
Hell yeah.
That's what's up.
Hell yeah.
Nah,
We need more of us.
that.
in those
That's
positions.
something I would definitely like to be doing later in my life. I could say that for sure.
Now, I want to get to it. You kind of already transitioned into it. You talked about the podcast, right?
Absolutely.
Don't Shoot the Messenger, right? Recently launched podcast, new podcast.
Absolutely.
Now, and I know it's not just you also have your other hosts on there.
Yeah.
Now, how did you come up with the concept of the title? Because I feel like the title of your podcast kind of sets the tone most times.
Yeah.
And when I hear "Don't Shoot the Messenger," I'm hearing like, I'm gonna say what the fuck I'm gonna say. Just know I'm just the messenger, right? Like these are
that's dope.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm coming from an objective standpoint. Is that right?
Yep.
But you can explain. It's your show.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll take this even back. I grew up in church, so you know, when you in a black church, there ain't no coasting, or there ain't no like service members that don't have a job. Like if you a member of that church, you either on a board, you a usher, you a choir member, you is something. You serving, you deacon, you serving for the Lord.
That's real.
Yeah.
So you know, just growing up in that, they always made you like, well, no, we're gonna figure it out. You're like a teenager now. Like you're 11. So what do you? You're a usher. You're this. You're that. So
That's
like,
real.
that had always been a constant thing in my head was, what is my purpose? So like, what was my purpose in church and what was my purpose in life? And in searching for both, I found that it was an evangelist. And so like, excuse me, the definition for an evangelist is a person that, brings people to God or brings people to the church. And, you know, whatever definition you're looking at, I took it as the brings people to God. And so I'm a messenger of God. You know what I mean? And that's just how I feel. Like God speaks through me. Anything that comes out of me is what God intended to be here on the earth.
That's real.
So it's just like knowing that, and you know, just accepting that. It was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be the name of the pod. Like and then to you know, just learning my purpose as far as the messenger. It was being an evangelist, or I said evangelist, but it was bringing the people together. So like when I throw an event, like a Love and Unity specifically, that's my church. If that, you know what I'm saying, I don't mean to be disrespectful in religion,
no, for sure.
but that's my church.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's where I bring people into a place, and we're all centered in on
it's your congregation.
Exactly. And that's how I feel about it. So that's just kind of how that started, and I definitely needed some people to help me get that off the ground. Like it was a long time coming to get the podcast up and running.
Yeah, we talked about it a while ago. I knew.
Yeah.
You know?
So you know, just getting Josiah, getting Garza, getting Mahalia, getting Adrian. These are all people that are pivotal. And I all respect their opinions. And you know, I feel like they are similar in the fact that they are messengers as well. And you know, they're gonna tell it like it is. And we're going to, you know, just be wrong and uncut. But at the same time, we want to educate, but entertain. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, we want to have a product that people want to listen to because it's entertaining. But at the same time, we want them to take away certain things where they're like, okay, they're thinking about it. They're talking about it with their friends and stuff like that. So that's pretty much how it came about. And
that's what's up.
Yeah, because a lot of people come, you know, they get a podcast. They're just like, all right, we're going to come on here. We're just going to talk. It's like, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to do? You know what I mean? So from your point of view, what does it take, would you say, to like be in the podcast game?
Consistency is the hardest part.
Man, that's what we say all the time.
Consistency, man, and I feel like that's going to be the common denominator when anybody talks about podcasting is being able to constantly put out something that a following is going to follow, and that's what it is. A following is going to follow consistency, and you'll be able to have more people that are outside of your initial following cling on to you because you're constantly putting out products. So just being able to, like, you know, there's weeks where like, okay, we have a record day, we have a drop day, and you know, it may get pushed back, or it may, you know, it may be different this week, and you know, those little minor details which seem minor to people outside of podcasting.
For sure.
You guys were saying that before we started recording. It's you know, being able to put it all together. It's not really like the pre-production and the actual interviewing. Like we can do this all. No, we can do this for 20.
I always tell people. I tell people recording the show is the easiest part.
The easiest part.
It's how you're going to deliver the show, right?
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
People think delivering the show happens here. No, it happens after you leave the studio.
And I would say you guys do a great way of delivering your show.
I appreciate that.
I look up to you guys as a podcast that has it buttoned up, dialed in, and I'm like, man, they got the video. They're dropping on all platforms. My description is well thought out, and I feel like I have a summary before I even watch the episode. I know what I'm listening to. Bro, it's admirable. So like, just from somebody else who does it, you know what I mean? It's like, you guys are on it, bro.
I appreciate that. And you know, again, it comes from just kind of learning, man. Like, you know, nobody got it all figured out, right? Even us here with the UpNUp podcast, we're still growing, right? We're still learning. We're still growing and learning with our listeners as well. Absolutely. So I think, again, it goes back to 24 Isaiah, right? Age 24 Isaiah finally accepted this is how life is, and it's going to start opening doors, right? So when you can accept that there's a learning curve, right? But the one thing that there's no ifs, ands, or buts is the consistency, right? If you can just remain consistent, you will progress. I promise you, anybody out there who wants to do a podcast, trust me, if you can be consistent, you know, be consistent, be diligent, and also be reflective and know how you can get better, you'll be fine. Just be consistent, though. That's the biggest, that's the best advice I can give too.
And I feel like a lot of podcasts, or a lot of people who want to start podcasts, instantly want to have video. And while video is a great thing to have for a podcast, it shouldn't be something that would hinder you from stopping your podcast. If you can get sound, if you have people to edit, or if you can edit, get the audio out,
Yeah.
and then just keep building on that.
Yeah.
Because right now that's where we're at. Like we don't have consistent video, and we're fine with that.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't say fine with that, but we're okay with that for now.
Yeah.
Because it's just like we want to be able to, get a well-oiled machine.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
fine.
by episode 100, everything's gonna be dialed.
Yeah, and that's the thing I think people don't understand. It's like there's always room for growth, right?
exactly.
I don't care what podcast you're listening to today, no matter how established you think they are, they're still figuring shit out too.
Absolutely.
I don't care what you say.
Because
what I'm
podcasting
saying.
is a new form of
it's still
media.
fairly new. Yeah,
that
it
is
is.
just like,
It is.
well, I wouldn't say new because it's been a while, been around a while, but
Yeah.
consumers are new to it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good way to put
So
it.
like being able to understand the market and understand, how much or how you can make money from a podcast.
Yeah.
Like how can you monetize
Yeah,
a podcast?
there's a lot of ways.
Is there a mid-roll? Is there a pre-roll? Is there these different things? Or is there, how are you going to do ads from local people that that you may be able to connect with and, stuff like that. So like just being able to grow your following and be consistent, because when you are consistent, the following will come.
Yeah.
If you have a target demographic, like a demographic that you can relate with personally, something that's important to you. You know what I mean? Like it could be a dog podcast where specifically.
Trust me, there's tons of those out there.
Tons of
I don't know of them, but I know
Yeah,
that.
there's
pretty sure
millions
there
of
is.
them. There's
Yeah.
people that analyze James Bond movies, like you know what I'm saying.
That's
I got
pretty dope.
I got this one that breaks down lyrics. It's called Dissect, I believe.
I think I heard of that one.
And it breaks down
Okay.
Kanye's, it breaks down Frank Ocean, it breaks down a lot of these different records.
Damn.
And
I gotta note that down.
Yeah, there's just very specific,
That's dope.
specific pods that you can start, and it's just about being different from everybody else at the end of the day too,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of people got the same names.
That's
what I mean?
real.
Like
Yeah.
you
That's real.
go look up names. A lot of people
real.
got that same
Exactly.
one.
Yeah.
How can you be one with just the one name?
Yeah.
That's a task right there.
Yeah.
So those are a couple things.
Yeah.
Not really too.
There's
I feel you,
there's a
bro.
lot more, but
I feel you.
think
Yeah,
there's
for real.
But consistency, like if
Consist-
you don't take anything from this
consistency.
little topic,
Yeah.
be
For
consistent.
real.
Be
But that takes a
consistent.
lot though.
I feel
That
you.
takes a lot.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to switch gears too. I kind of
Yeah.
want to address the elephant. I'm
Yeah.
not going to say in the room, but in the state probably.
Okay.
I want to talk about the disconnect between Tacoma and Seattle.
I'm the bridge, bro. I'm the bridge.
All right, yeah.
I'm trying to be the
What-
bridge.
what can
That's
we
my
do,
dream,
bro? 'Cause,
I
you
don't
know,
know.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
so
a
I'm
good.
not
That's
go-
a good question.
I'm not gonna say I'm gonna call myself the bridge and then say I don't know. But,
Yeah. I'm a pillar. I'm a pillar on the bridge, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
I don't. It's a dream of mine, bro. Like
Yeah.
to really, but we've come a long way.
Yeah.
Come a long
Yeah.
way. Like I think that the artists, the talent, the culture. I think that Tacoma has moved in a way where it has the respect of our peers from Seattle now, somewhat.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like people that are kind of tapped in, they kind of know that there's something going on out there
Yeah.
that's like kind of popping.
Yeah.
And us being able to recognize and kind of bite our ego and be able to be like, we know we have to go through Seattle to get popping. Like it's a thing. So,
Yeah.
but it's happened over the years.
Yeah.
There are people like there are Seattle cats that I always see in Tacoma, and I'll respect them for
Yeah.
that, because it's like anytime that I could throw an event and Seattle people would come,
Yeah.
I knew I was doing something right.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Tacoma people drive to Seattle all the time. We
Yeah.
have to.
That's real.
We work here. We
That's real.
Yeah.
we go out here. We do whatever. We do whatever here. But to get somebody from Seattle
To come out to Tacoma?
Tacoma,
Yeah.
as people that live in Seattle, y'all don't ever go to Tacoma.
Man, yeah, I'm gonna keep it
Ever.
real, bro.
Ever.
Like
Hey,
if
I'ma
I hear
be
about
real,
a
though.
party down there, I'm like,
Yeah.
There is,
Yeah.
there's
It's-
like, what's the, it's like, what's the draw
That's-
for a young person, a color, black, brown person
Yeah.
in our state to want to, come to Tacoma? And it has been our shows, or it has been
Yeah.
our parties.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
been,
That's what it
things
is.
that we've been able to do like that. And, just like we were saying with kind of like the sports.
Yeah.
Us, Avery and Isaiah and Gaddy and, all these different people, and all of the football guys like
Yeah.
Desmond Trufant and
Yeah.
Xavier Cooper.
Yeah.
So like there's multiple guys that are in the league that are our age.
Yeah.
And so like I just felt like, we kind of had a generation that was, we didn't focus on the beef as much. Like we knew a lot of people that before us, we kind of like
Yeah.
learned from the generations
Yeah.
before us a little bit. And I've been able to see that like there's really no rift. Like it used to be a thing. Like I remember when I was like freshman, like I'll say like my junior year of high school to like my sophomore year of college, I would be in Seattle and I would feel like, all right, there are gonna be some people out here that I've seen before, and we've been in some situations where, you know, we might have to be ready, and I might have to have the right people with me that night. And I don't feel like that no more.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Like, I'll pull up to Trap Sunday any given day. You feel me? Like, let's get it. Like, it's popping.
Shout out Trap Sundays, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure. So, like,
that's real.
I think that Seattle being able to be the big brother and allow the little brother to play with the big brother is done a lot as far as, like, us being on the shows with y'all. And, you know
what it is, bro?
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, and I'm glad you brought this up, I think it's just we're missing opportunities. Point blank, right?
Yeah.
So the disconnect is creating a lack of opportunities for us.
Absolutely.
That's the problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like, regardless of where you live, it's like, let's look at the bigger picture here, right?
Yeah.
We all have shit in common, right? The cops going to pull him over the same way they're going to pull me over, right? Regardless of where the hell I live in this state. So it's like there's so much opportunity, man, right? It ain't nothing but a drive to go collab and do some shit, right? Like, let's get bread out there, get bread out here, and make it happen, man.
There are times where, like, you know, like, I'll just look on Snapchat. One of my homies would be in Tacoma for, like, a day party or something. I'm like, damn, it's popping. That's cracking. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, damn. I wish, like, I mean, I'm going to just keep it real. Geography is one of the biggest things that probably disconnected us, like, as two cities, you know what I mean? But
definitely.
I think, like, we just got to collab more.
I think
you know, do a lot more, like, parties, whatever it is, you know what I mean?
Sure, bro. I was trying to get a Trap Sunday in Tacoma this past summer. I was trying to get them to bring it out there, but you know, I kind of didn't follow up. I should have, you know, but you know, things be going on.
For sure.
But to like what you were saying, just like Tacoma is the thing that's separate, that is different from Tacoma and Seattle, specifically with black people, is we support each other. I feel like on another level.
I agree. I see that too.
Like
I definitely see that.
Like I think that it's more of a cohesive support from like everybody in the city. If we know that, oh, this person is this, or this is Clem Rashad, this is Isaiah Thomas, this is this person, this is Rip, this is you know, we get behind that person and you know, we kind of support them. Like I had never like, people in Tacoma don't know who Day B is like that, and that's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Yeah. That's what?
Yeah.
Everybody should be listening to him because everybody would if they knew who he was. But we just don't have that. Like, it could be radio, you know what I mean? It could be, you know, not having the right outlet. But, like, you know, there's the other artists in Seattle, too, that are doing their thing that people in Tacoma have no idea of. And because I'm in the scene and I'm at these venues and I'm at these shows is really the reason that I know. So, like, I know all my, like, there's cats out here that I'll tell them and they'll be like, who? And you know, they never heard of them.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow. So, like, I try to do on my part to, like, you know, post Bravo Impact, you know, just post that Tap In or you know, post, you know, somebody that's in Seattle or Stasty Boss, like somebody, Porter Ray, like, you know, I'm trying to educate my following, you know what I'm saying, on people that I think are dope and people that I know that are dope, like, that are right here. And, like, for Tacoma not to be supporting some of these artists, it's crazy, but I don't know if it's really, like, their fault. Like, you know what I mean?
It's a big, bro. It's a tough task to try to remedy a disconnect that's been happening for so long. But I think what you said is important. Is like, let me just do the best job I can. Right, and leading by example. That's what we're doing with this platform, right?
Absolutely.
We're trying to bridge that gap because like, there's no reason why there's a brother right now in Tacoma who's building a Fortune 500 company. I don't know who he is.
Man,
there's no reason. I should know. At least we ain't got to be best friends. I should at least know he exists, right?
Yeah.
So we're trying to kind of bridge that gap to where we're just trying to raise awareness, right?
We appreciate that, man.
And I don't care where you live in this state, right? If you black, brown, underrepresented, if you categorize yourself as that, shit, let's get to it, bro. I don't know what to say.
Numbers, because imagine we did all connect. You know what I mean?
Man,
we could take over.
Man,
like,
there's so many. So many connects that I know that you guys have out here. There's so many connects that are in Tacoma that are like, you would think like, what, he does what? Like, shout out Will Jordan.
Yeah, shout out to Will.
Shout out Will.
to,
Shout out Will Jordan. Daryl Cruz, his management.
Mm.
He is like one of the most tapped in people I've ever been around in my life. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's done different things with Revolt, with Love and Hip Hop, with all these different places, and you would never even know that he's the person that he's getting local producers placements on Love and Hip Hop. Like people that we, know and stuff like that.
People
So
you see at Safeway, like, you gonna grab that or not? All right, move, man.
Yeah,
like, like
exactly.
you don't know this guy got something popping.
Exactly.
You should know.
Yeah,
you should know. We
So,
all should know.
Exactly. So like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different cats like that. So like, we were just talking about the Anderson .Paak album.
Yeah.
So there's a Seattle. There's Seattle hands in that. Pender. Jay
Pender.
Pender put some of that together.
Wow.
As well as Black Soul Music. Black Soul Music was I don't want to be mistaken with this, but I believe he wrote the chorus, or he was a part of the chorus for Mansa Musa.
Wow.
So bro, I just had a moment on my way up here.
That's crazy.
Like my bro wrote the hook that Dr. Dre is rapping on.
That's a tough ass record too.
Tough
That's
record.
that
So I'm
sounds
like,
lit.
But
he's from Tacoma. He's on the Grammy board. Like,
Wow.
but people don't. You know,
That's
a
what-
lot
yeah.
of Black Soul get a lot of love out here in Seattle for sure. But like, do people really? Do they really know exactly what he's doing? And that's not something that he may not want everybody to know, because he does his thing. He got credits on a lot of albums.
You just gotta work, man.
He got, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's just out here doing it. So like, there's a lot of people like that, and I'm sure in Seattle that like, we should be connecting and thriving together. It should be an ecosystem of creatives. Like I think honestly, the talent that we have here in Seattle and Tacoma right now, we have the talent to start a renaissance.
Talk about it.
Man, bro.
Like
Wow,
a real
that's what I be
life
saying.
renaissance where we could turn up this whole city into an art city and paint the districts and really go crazy. Like and they say renaissances happen when there's turmoil. You feel me? Like in the dark ages. Like, bro, this Trump, like, it's gonna bring out the best art of all of us. You know what I mean? So we gotta be able to capitalize and really put it all together. I don't know how that happens. I don't know, who are the powers that be that needs to have a meeting of the minds or whatever it looks like. But bro, it needs to happen, and when it does, it's gonna be crazy.
It's happening right now.
It's
happening. It's happening right now.
Absolutely.
I always be
happening
telling
right
them, I'm like, man, like, there's New York, there's Atlanta, there's LA. All these places got different colors, and then you look at Seattle or the Northwest. Let's just say all that. And, and it's like everybody, on a national scale, everybody's like, so
they don't even they don't consider us West Coast.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
if we really like bridge that gap, bro, like we could, like you said, we could build a renaissance and like,
and that's the thing too.
really,
Like I
you
don't
know?
think that we were talking about this earlier tonight. I don't think we lack a platform that is like a major social interaction on the internet that is like based in Seattle, like or that is like based from Seattle people that like we can really interact with. Like I think Cut Stories by Cut.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
Yeah, they're from Seattle, or they started in Seattle.
Yeah.
But like, I have no, specific ties to them.
Neither
You know what
do
I
I.
mean? Like, so it's like, what is there actually that's putting forth the representation of the culture that's taking place out here? We lack that. There's no Say Cheese that shout out that he came and did an event, but like there's no baller alert. There's no what I'm saying, there's no specific huge platform. Don't let me knock the UpNUp.
No, we
built that.
No, we know what you're saying.
You
But you know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what he's saying, bro. Yeah, we good, bro. No, but it's like it takes talking about it though, because like a lot of people don't want to talk about what we're lacking, right?
Yeah.
You ever go to a doctor and he tells you what's wrong with you, and you're like, nah, and you're like, no, I came here to get my hand fixed. What you talking about my elbow for, right?
What you talking about that for?
So it's like a lot of times we have to address what we don't have, right? Like the UpNUp is a platform that we've created, but this isn't going to get the job done by itself, right? It takes all of us together to be tapped in, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether it's through creating your own lanes, creating your own businesses, creating your own entrepreneurship ventures, right? Creating your own platforms, whatever the case is, creating your own podcast, do something, right?
Yeah.
And let's build together, man. I like that message.
Let me ask y'all a question.
What's up?
I seen you posting other podcasts either yesterday or today.
Yeah.
What do you guys think as far as podcasts that are in the same area? How could local podcasts, however you want to describe it, how can they interact with each other to better each other or to uplift and grow with each other?
I think.
How do you guys think that
You
that
want
would?
to go ahead and take a crack at it?
I mean, just right off the top of my head, I would say events. You know what I mean? Like collab on events,
Gotcha.
and like we could, like I said, this is just off the top of my head, but we could do one big ass like Pacific Northwest podcast, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of like a little function,
Like a
and everybody
convention
could
or
set up
something.
tables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like a little convention or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Everybody could just come there and be like, okay, so that's a place people can go and be like.
This
Damn,
is-
I see
these are all the
you know what I mean?
podcasts.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
So and then that will kind of, put everybody on like awareness.
Yeah.
People can go there, add them on their phones. Everybody got a phone, so it's
Yeah.
like everybody, that's just off the top of my dome.
I like
but,
it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That's like interactive with the community too.
I just there was an after party at Sky Creative for it was like a seminar or no it was a convention, but it was for like all the 502s. It was for all the dispensaries. It was
Yeah.
at the Tacoma
Oh, yeah,
Dome.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was
Okay.
at the Tacoma Dome.
Okay.
And so like that just made me kind of think of like
That's
if
what I'm saying.
if every single podcast was in the
Yeah.
Tacoma Dome.
Yeah. So I think that's a good idea. I think having one that's specifically for our region. I don't know if you know. I'm gonna just let you know now. There's actually I just found out not too long ago, but there's a PodCon convention that's going to be held in Seattle in January.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's the second one. Now, as far as all the podcasts that are involved, I wouldn't say they're as reflective of us as I'd like them to be.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah,
if I
yeah,
can say
yeah.
that. So I feel like doing something that's kind of within our region, something that we kind of have that represents us,
Absolutely,
would
yeah.
probably be a little bit more effective. But to answer your question, I think really connecting with each other, not just on social media, but actually connecting with each other, whether it's the events or, we have you on our show. We
Yep,
had
yep.
Casey Carter from the Glow Up, and there's countless other podcasters out there that we're going to tap in with, right?
Got you.
Because at the end of the day, there's listeners that you have that I'll never reach. And it's
Yeah.
just a fact, bro.
Yeah.
It's just like business. You're not going to
Yeah.
get every customer, right?
Nope.
So
There's definitely ones that would love your product though.
yeah,
as well.
exactly. So I think
Yeah.
a lot of times I share other people's podcasts because I understand that our show might not necessarily
Cater to
what you need in that
Got
moment.
you.
You might come back to it later and be like, oh, I need this now. So it doesn't
Bro,
necessarily.
you just preached to me because I think everybody should like want to listen to my podcast.
Yeah, no, for real, man. Go listen
No,
to
yeah,
it.
go
And
listen to the
sometimes,
podcast.
and sometimes,
For real, you know what I mean?
Sometimes you gotta, shit. I go to Costco. I'm like, why not? I'll try a sample, right? I ain't gonna buy the whole thing, but I might, So sometimes you gotta just go sample some shit. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, and that's idealistic for some people,
Yeah.
right? But for me, I think it's just connecting, man.
Gotcha.
And connecting with each other.
I believe that.
And showing your listeners that we rock with you,
Yeah.
right? And your
Yeah.
listeners know, vice versa.
Vice versa, man.
Would like have that connection with no egos.
Mm.
You know
That's
what I mean?
that's
I think
huge,
that's
bro.
one of the,
That's
just
huge.
everybody just.
We'll call it the egoless, the egoless.
The egoless.
You know, so
Egoless
when it's like that, that's when
experience,
everything becomes a little more genuine.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And
Absolutely.
Everything becomes a little more
That's real.
real.
When you
You
know
know.
other people's intentions and you know that they're pure, you
Yeah.
guys can move in a way where there's trust there and you can build organically. Like
Man.
if it's not,
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Because like
yeah.
I mean, for
we
you
know we
of us-
all know some people who you might not want to in the same circle. You got to keep them at an arm's distance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the people. I don't like having people too close to me. I don't really feel 100%
Exactly.
comfortable around. You know what I mean? So it's
actions
like,
speak louder than words at the end of the day,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
So
I think, yeah.
yeah, do you got something? Because I wanna ask the golden question.
Oh, for real?
You know I got that.
I got one more.
You rock.
What you got?
Man, I want to talk about just real quick gentrification in Tacoma. What's that looking like?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
talk
it's
about that.
happening here.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, we might end up in Tacoma in a little
Hey,
bit, but
for real,
but
for real.
what's it looking like out there?
So you said that, but I've been saying, hey, this is my dream. This is my dream. This
Yeah,
is my dream.
I
It's like
know
my
about
third
your
time
dream
saying this is my
too,
dream. Now this is my dream that like all black people or all like brown people or people that associate with our culture like move to the hilltop or the east side of Tacoma. Just because like we lack community as black people, not just in Washington.
Yeah. In general.
In general, like throughout the country, there's only like a couple real black communities, and when I say communities, I mean like they growing their own food, they got their own markets, like they got their own banks, like they got their own, they're sufficient. They don't really have to go outside of their neighborhood. And people, there's other groups of demographics that do that, like the the Jews in Brooklyn, like the Koreans in my town, like just everywhere that they're sufficient, they got the clinic. They got different insurance. They got every
everything
single
everybody
business
needs.
that you
It's all-
need
it's all circulating
right
too.
there,
Yeah.
and all that money circulating within their people. So like, that's what I would love to see for like a place that, you know, is historically black, even though it hasn't been historically black for a long time. Thanks, Facebook. I had to see a picture where I seen it. I had to see a picture where I seen like a bunch of KKK members.
They
like,
heard you talking about it, you know.
on the top of like the hill,
Wow.
right on downtown Tacoma.
Wow.
So
That's
like yeah, just
That's
like
crazy.
even knowing the history of your own city, like a place that we rep so much is like like you didn't know like. They used to live on the hill. The KKK lived on the hill. Like black people lived downtown. Like literally like on the like coming up the hill. We never lived at the top of the hill. So like, you know, there's black people that don't know that to this day that are dying and repping that hilltop like to its death. So it's like just but still at the end of the day, like I feel like Tacoma has that sense of culture of backing in Washington of like people that look like us. And so like that's the only reason why I really say that. Like you could say the CD was that.
Yeah.
Like, but is it that now? Like it's probably more so like Renton or like you know what I'm saying, Skyway or something.
I think I'm glad you mentioned that too, because I have conversations like this all the time with the homies, like what area. And I ain't even gonna say my ideas because these white folks might be listening. They might go try to take it. You know what I'm saying?
They might run off.
But I think it's more so whether it's in Tacoma on the hilltop or whether it's who cares. But if we can just have our own space, right? We had Joaquin on our last show.
Shout out Joaquin.
He's talked a lot about Africatown, and that's a movement that's been created, but also being pushed and needs help being pushed. And so I think we can kind of take that concept, right, and find a way to fit it, because that's more so about reclaiming and preserving the Central District. But that doesn't necessarily mean we can't take what's being done there and do it somewhere else, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe have smaller little communities, right? Because sometimes that's what you got to do, right?
Yeah, no, for real. And I got something else on gentrification, but to what you were saying earlier about like elephant in the room and how we was trying to bridge Tacoma and Seattle.
Yeah.
Bridging black people in general with the African community in Seattle, like I feel like that's more so of that's really a need, like
I
just
agree.
a respect from one another and being able to grow together. Like I've seen like the Africans get down, like they get money in Seattle. Like we've always noticed that as being from Tacoma, like, but we noticed that the black people in Seattle weren't involved in that and didn't live and didn't you know operate in that same circle. So it's like being able to see that and like, you know, kind of learn from that and grow from that. Like we all black, y'all. Like you were saying, we all gonna get pulled over and treated the same.
Yeah.
So it's like, because you know you might be a first generation or you know whatever the case may be, we still have to be able to have respect for one another to be able to grow together.
That's real.
But back to gentrification. I was actually on a gentrification like secret meeting, kind of like where it was the Tacoma Housing Authority that had asked me to be a part of it, and they're looking to fight gentrification. And you know, they had got a couple of, you know, just young black people that were from, you know, the inner city, and they got us together, and they were, you know, we had a bunch of different white people, and they were like, it was a weird interaction, you know what I mean? But I took the meeting just to see what it was going to be like. I'm invited to a white meeting on gentrification in the hood.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm
trying to see what y'all know.
What y'all plotting?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, what it looks like now is like UW-T is like blown up to where it's like it's its own campus. You know, at this point. So like, and that's at the bottom of the hill downtown. So like, you know, up on the hill is like, it's not what it was. Like there's still those families that are like have bought homes that will like probably never leave their families. But other than that, MLK is about to have a train ran through it. All the businesses that's being built on MLK are businesses that aren't for us. You feel me? So it's just like a lot of that you're taking notice when that is a monorail or whatever it is. When that monorail hits, it's over. It's over for there's no more MLK. You know what I mean? So it's like
MLK in Seattle right now. Yeah.
So it's like
same thing.
There's that, and then you know we're not only pushed out of that specific neighborhood, but we're pushed out the city in general.
Man, we could talk about this shit forever, man. But it's one of those things where I think talking about it and getting the ball rolling is enough just for right now.
Yeah.
And getting the conversation out there, getting people to think about this, right? Think about this topic, regardless of where you live. Whether you live in Seattle, Marysville, I don't care where you live. You black, think about this because it affects you.
I would say like try to start one of those kind of like businesses that are in these areas, in these historically, you know, black populated areas, the city, the South Seattle, you know, the Hilltop, East Side. Just try to start like a market. You know what I mean? Like, you know, do whatever that you can to kind of like, you know, contribute to that neighborhood in a very positive way, in a way that your people can know and, you know, get your marketing popping. Everybody gonna be in there.
Hell yeah. For sure. Hell yeah.
For sure, man.
You
know,
but it sounds easy, but, you know, it takes a lot.
Yeah,
it takes a lot. So, like, you know, if that's a passion of yours, if that's something that you can see for yourself, definitely.
No, that's real. That's real. So, my brother, I'm gonna leave you with this last question. I always ask this question for all our guests.
Come on.
And it's something to kind of sum up all we've talked about as well as cast ahead. A lot of the amazing things I know you're going to do, right?
Appreciate it.
So if you can, my brother, what is one word to describe what keeps you on the up and up?
You could explain it too.
Okay.
Yeah. He was like,
damn. That keeps me on the up and up. And you know, I don't, for some reason, I'll try to speak positivity at all times. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm, you know, anything that negative happens in my life, it was a lesson. You know, I try to take everything with a positive, you know, outlook on it. So I say that to say that this is going to kind of sound like not negative, but failure of loss. Like, you know, or just failure of potential, reaching my potential. Is it one word?
It's one word.
Yeah, but it's cool.
One word?
Yeah, it's all good.
They get it.
It's like,
potential.
So what would that? Yeah,
potential.
Not
It's really
potential.
potential. Yeah, it's potential.
Potential. Yeah, it's just that's like my fear of not maximizing or not reaching what it was my purpose was on this earth or what I was supposed to accomplish while I was here. Yeah, and that kind of just feels me like if I lose whatever, I'm gonna keep it going because I know that, you know, I'm gonna turn it up eventually.
That's real.
We're gonna get it together. So yeah.
That's real. Nah, we
feel it.
We were just talking about this too before you got up here. It was like, it sounds cliche, but you know when people say live every day like it's your last.
Yeah.
I think, you know, especially if you experience a lot of loss in your life, seeing people go a little early than they were supposed to.
Yeah.
It should kind of shape your outlook, right?
Oh yeah.
And so
humble you.
All that shit is interconnected. Your potential and where you want to be is racing against a clock that you can't see, right?
Yeah.
So that's good. I like that one. That's the first time we got potential too, right?
I think so.
Potentially.
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 Yeah, man. So, you know, back to another basketball reference, man. We definitely appreciate you, man. We definitely appreciate you for all you're doing. We wish you much success. And, you know, we're going to continue throwing you the alley-oop. I told you the basketball reference.
Okay. Appreciate that, man.
We're going to keep throwing you the alley-oop.
I was like, which
man.
one is he about to say right now?
Yeah, man. Any final remarks? Anything you want to?
Nah, man. I mean, for our listeners, don't forget about the hats.
Yeah, man.
Up and up, man. Up and up.
We out here.
Yeah, definitely, man. We on the up and up.
Seattle and Tacoma.
Yeah,
we
bridging that gap.
We're just leading by example. This is how you do it, man.
Absolutely.
This is how you do it, man. Black excellence, man, no matter where you live.
Let me know. I'll definitely, you know, anytime you guys want to have somebody from Tacoma on the pod, I'm going to send the contact information. I'm going to try to help y'all set that up anyway.
The Isaiah Bridge.
There it is. Come on. Yeah, for real.
I like that. Well, with that said, man, definitely, man, thank you for coming to the show, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
And I think it's official. It's official to say Isaiah Jimenez and Tacoma are members of the Up and Up. Let's get it popping. Let's get it popping. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We made it, baby.